Hi, I'm Patrick McIntyre. Welcome to Signal Brief News. Facts first, analysis second, so you decide what matters. Jim Clyburn has represented South Carolina's 6th District for 32 years. He's the man who rescued Joe Biden's presidential campaign in 2020 with a single endorsement. And right now, Republican state legislators are doing their best to draw him off the map. The conservative argument is that he's been there too long and that districts should not be engineered for racial outcomes. That sounds entirely reasonable, except that Clyburn's district is only 45% black, not a majority. And he won nearly 60% of the vote against a Republican opponent who was also black in the last election. That's not a racial spoils district. That's a constituency who value their incumbent. Of course, this is not a done deal. South Carolina's redistricting requires a two-thirds majority in the Senate to even get to the governor's desk. And some Republican members are quietly worried this could blow up in their faces. That cracking Clyburn's district could make neighboring districts more competitive, not less. So whether what some would describe as a naked grab for partisan power succeeds, or is rejected by voters as an unacceptable overreach that comes back to bite the GOP, this race bears watching closely. That fight over representation isn't just happening in courtrooms and state houses. It's also showing up at the ballot box. Michigan Democrats just won a state Senate special election by 19 points in a district Kamala Harris carried by only 1 point in 2024. Think about that for a second. The conservative response has been no surprise. Special elections don't mean anything. The silent majority doesn't show up for them. Wait until November. And generally, that's a valid point because, on the average, special elections do overperform for the out party. But the question here is this: if the silent majority is sitting this one out, what exactly do you call a 19-point swing? Because that's not just the opposition showing up. That seems to be something closer to a vocal majority that's already made up its mind and said so loudly. The immediate practical value of a result like this for the Democrats isn't just symbolic. A 19-point swing in a district nobody expected to win by double digits is a major fundraising opportunity. Donors respond to momentum, and right now, the momentum arrow is pointing up for the Democrats. But no one should be counting any chickens just yet because November is still 6 months away. Special elections have a habit of flattering the out party, but flattery isn't the same as a House majority. Still, a dramatic shift like this seems to indicate the Michigan GOP have their work cut out for them. If this kind of analysis is useful to you, hit the like button, subscribe, and follow the channel. We'll be publishing new signal briefs regularly, and you won't want to miss what's coming. And while voters are sending that signal at the ballot box, Republicans are working just as hard to make sure it doesn't translate into seats. Virginia's Supreme Court threw out the state's newly drawn, voter-approved redistricting map last week. And just like that, Republicans are 8 seats closer to holding their House majority. But Democrats aren't accepting that verdict. They've already filed for a delay in enforcement of the ruling, signaling an intention to appeal to the United States Supreme Court. This fight is not over. Republicans argue they earned this through legitimate electoral victories, winning state legislatures, winning governorships, and technically they're right. But winning elections shouldn't give a party the authority to design the electoral system against its opposition. The founders built a democracy where voters are supposed to choose their representatives. What's happening here gives the appearance of exactly the opposite. Even so, 8 seats alone is probably not enough to overcome the political environment the Republicans are facing. Cook Political Report still says Democrats are favored to retake the House, which means this story has a silver lining for Democratic fundraisers and organizers. Nothing motivates donors and voters like a threat that feels real but beatable. And right now, that's exactly what this is. This has been Signal Brief News. Thanks for being here. We'll see you in the next brief.